Line up, you fucking nerds. Who wants a shot at the champ?
They bring the heat.
Francis Ngannou is the hardest puncher in the history of fighting.
They bring the knowledge.
If you think this fight is going 5 rounds, you are out of your mind.
They bring you the picks.
The dog is getting it done in this one.
We deliver every single week. We're bringing the heat, ladies and gentlemen.
The money line.
Don't miss it on the MMA Experts channel each week. The Money Line. We are live on a special Tuesday edition of the show. Back in studio, bringing the heat. I am AJ, joined as always by my guy, Mike Finch. What's up?
Feeling good. Hope y'all had a fantastic July 4th. 1 week off. So, you know, AJ had to do his pizza tour. I don't know if you guys are keeping up with AJ trying all this Little Caesars looking ass pizza, ranking it 9 point this, 9 point that. AJ, for real? 9 point? They were that good.
But to be fair, though, I didn't grow up in Illinois, right? So if you grew up there, it's a whole different taste for pizza. I think it's like what you grew up with. I grew up around the Northeast style, right?
Yeah.
If you grew up there, you're like, what is this? Your first pizza you had was a deep dish or something pan. You're probably like, what is this thing? I understand. You know, it's like the taste. But for my taste buds, bro, these were some solid spots. Every place I went to, besides one of them, was high rated by Dave Portnoy, Mr. Pizza Review himself. So I said, you know what? Let me go and do my own reviews and let's see what's up. And right now, holding the crown for best pizza in the Northeast is Regina Pizza in Boston, Massachusetts for me so far. But unofficially, it's also John's off Bleecker Street, but I never reviewed it on camera. So December, I'm bringing some reviews back for that. I have it on Instagram. Listen, pizza tour jam.
On-camera review, or it didn't happen, you know?
I know. So right now, Regina's
and we're flying AJ out to Chicago so he could try some real pizza next time.
I'm excited. Listen, I'm excited. I want to try the best slices all across the fucking world. All right. This is my second venture is the pizza thing, bro. I've loved it since I was a kid. I love pizza reviews.
I got you. We won over Patricio Pitbull, by the way. Patricio Pitbull was talking this. Yeah, Brazilian pizza is better. We're like, hold up, bro. We took Patricio to Pequod's in Lincoln Park, Chicago. And we flipped them.
Well, I never heard of Brazilian pizza. I didn't know that pizza.
I didn't know it was a thing either. I think he was just bullshitting me, man. I think Patricio was dragging me along. He's like, no, Brazilian pizza, brother. I'm like, what the fuck? Brazilian pizza?
Never heard of it. Listen, you know what? I'll try some Chicago style at some point. We'll be in touch about it, Mr. Finch. But we're back with fights. Quick little thing to touch on. You hear about the UFC White House for July 2026?
In 1776, we declared independence from Great Britain. The heavyweight champ, Tom Aspinall, is from Manchester. The other heavyweight champ is from Albuquerque, New Mexico. That's the United States. America versus England at the White House. How do we not make this happen? That's the fight.
I thought John Jones retired.
You saw him get back in the testing pool.
It's a lie.
Don't bullshit me and act like you didn't see him get back in the motherfucking testing pool.
I was the guy telling everybody it's a fraud. He's not really retiring. He's just vacating the belt. He's taking a step back. He wants more footage of Tommy Boy.
Yo, Ronda Rousey, where's your fine ass at? Yeah, I remember that.
Derrick Lewis's finest hour right there. Finest 5 minutes, whatever.
Yo, I just feel like we have to have an American. Well, first off, let me back up. Amazing. I saw some people like the news was reporting it. People like, what has happened to this country? Next, they're gonna have monster trucks at the White House.
Oh, shut up.
Fuck y'all. Yeah, fuck y'all. All right. Boxing was celebrated back when boxing was in its heyday, right? When Muhammad Ali was the man, even when Mike Tyson was the man, when Rocky Marciano was the man. You want to keep going back, but I believe now it's time for the UFC to provide some entertainment. It's perfect, man. The relationship between Dana and Trump, I think it's such a fun, different thing to do, right? Yeah. YOLO. Let's make it happen at the White House. And if they're selling tickets, your boy's going. And if I can get credentialed as media, AJ and I are going. You down?
Listen, I got a stream for it, Finch. I can't miss it.
Oh, he didn't.
I love you. Hey, but you listen, if you want to put experts and Mike Finch show, we'll double your follow rate there and we'll get you in for sure. And you can send me pics. But I got a stream. The people know. I got offered to go to UFC 318 by a beloved subscriber and member, Trading Champ. And I told him, I said, listen, I love you, bro. but I can't go to no events till I have at least 100,000 subscribers. Ask me then, we'll have a conversation. But you know,
And
it's
then
time
when you
to
have
buckle
100,000, you'd be like, bro, I've got 100,000. I need to entertain them.
down. But listen, I might. I'm hustling, man. I'm hustling. You know,
This guy. Yeah, man. I think you could do a little. I don't know. Like I used to type play-by-play at events. You ever done that?
that's cool.
Are the people not gonna
No,
like that? They're not gonna want to read your play-by-play.
I can speak it, but I can't type it. Nah,
Yeah, I used to sit there on my laptop.
that's crazy.
That's how I first got started doing commentary. I just got credentialed as media, do play-by-play. Hey, can I do backstage interviews? Yeah, sure, kid. Go ahead. Do backstage interviews. Hey, you like these? Yeah. Okay. You want to post them on your page? Yeah. And then people start knowing who I am. Hey, by the way, I'm available to do commentary. Did it for the first time for free. You know what I mean? I started getting the ball rolling all through that. So yeah, getting credentialed as media, it's the way to do it.
Respect. Listen, you want to get that Trump interview. You know what I'm saying? Finch interviews Trump would be sensational.
Bro, come on. Me and Trump doing an interview? Come on. That'd be fucking awesome.
UFC White House gives Commodus hosting gladiator fights. Explain this. Trev Bot, thank you for the 5 months. What does that word mean, Finch?
Commodus. This is reminding me of like watching these. Emperor of Rome. Yep, exactly.
Hey, shout out KZ.
Emperor of Rome.
KZ Raid W, bro.
180 years after Jesus croaked. Jesus was born, actually.
Interesting. Okay.
AD. So, yeah, Commodus hosting gladiator fights. So it's Trump now, you know?
I mean, it's got a cool feel to it. I'm down with the UFC White House thing. I think it's one of a kind. I think it's a fun thing to do. Like, I feel like the fighters will be hyped. Why wouldn't it be?
They are.
It'd be awesome.
They're already hyped, you know?
Right. Enough of these fucking basketball players, football players saying, we're not going to the White House. You know what? Stay the fuck out of it. We got the fighters
out of the White House. So Can you imagine being that much of a self-righteous bitch?
I couldn't.
You don't go to the White House. I don't give a fuck which president it is. Right. You know what I mean? There has never been a president in American history who will invite me to the White House where I'm like, no, you know?
Right. Oh, I'm not going. I don't agree with you. I don't care who it is. It could be any president. I'd be on it. Experts in the White House. Let's fucking
hang out with Biden. Fuck yeah.
I would. Listen.
Go chop it up with
Joe.
Joe.
Guy, you sit down, have a drink. Listen, take a picture.
I want to be in the Oval Office. You know, I want to just look around. You know. Fuck yeah, I want to go.
It'd be sick. There's history there.
They got the Declaration of Independence on the fucking wall now, okay? Trump's got it behind this, like, curtain. Of course I want to see it.
I'm with it. I'm with the Finch, man. Listen, we got fights to talk about. We can talk the White House trip all we want, but we got to talk about the fight game. We got to talk about the fight game. Hernanov's asking, listen, if we're going, I'll give you the call. I'll put you in. You're the camera guy. But listen, you be getting us coffees and shit, Hernanov. Yo, get us a coffee, bro. Let's make it happen, my friend.
I mean, yeah, that's what I used to do, guys. So I used to work for MMA Recap. I used to work for MMA Free Agent. Jesus, these are throwbacks. I used to work for what became this like MMA tickets website. I think it's MMAtix.com. If I'm not mistaken. It's been a minute. You know, so I used to go be media at events and going to the AJ 250th anniversary of the greatest country on earth. Come on, son. Of course I'm going.
Would be special.
Of course I'm going.
You're going. The ticket's about to be like, if you can't get in media,
it's a wrap.
Tickets. Oh shit. I can't imagine.
Yeah, because I was kicking around the Sphere. I was like, Sphere would be cool. I looked at the ticket price. Oh shit. I'm watching at home.
This guy, Ethan, he says he got into a really bad car accident a week ago, been in the hospital since. I need a lock for this week so I can get a new car. Always appreciate the content. Yo, we're sorry about this accident, man.
Sorry to hear, brother.
I hope that you recover well. We'll see what we can do for you. Hey, throughout the month of June, Mike Finch, plus money locks, 4-0, undefeated for the whole month. So if you're playing the underdog savagery, you're touching the parlays, I'm on it right now. Let's bring the heat with July, though, because now we're starting off this week. And Ethan, we'll see if we can make some magic happens again. You know, I'm ready to talk this card. I'm getting excited, man. We got hit by a 95 mile an hour. Listen, God bless you, bro. I'm glad you're okay. Shit.
Sorry to hear, brother. Jesus. Sorry to hear, man. All the best to you and your family. Don't risk what you have saved up on gambling. You know, anything you gamble, you should be willing to lose. Just all the best to you, man. Don't put yourself in a worse situation by betting on Austen Lane. You know what I'm
saying? Listen, we got fights. Speaking of Austen Lane, we got fights. All right. We're going to talk about every single fight on this UFC Nashville card. It's actually a pretty quality fight night. I'm looking forward to it. It's a good card to get us back on track. And then we got a pay-per-view coming up next week. So good things. We're locked in, and it's time to get down to business. All right. Fight number one, the ladies going after it. Fatima Kline versus Melissa Martinez. I'm picking Fatima Kline. I expect her grappling skills to be the ultimate difference maker between the two. Short notice debut. She fought Jasdavicius. She landed a takedown early. She went 3 rounds. I respect the output she was able to attempt. Obviously, Jasdavicius is a top 10 fighter in the women's flyweight division. Kline, young prospect, naturally is not a flyweight. She's a strawweight. Proper weight class here. Fighting a good kickboxer, Melissa Martinez, but how sensational? I don't think good enough to win here. I mean, she's 1-1 in the UFC. She lost to Elise Reed nearly 3 years ago, and then she beat Elise Ardoyan about 8.5 months ago, which, it's an okay win. Ardoyan's not too shabby, but I think Fatima Kline's going to be too good. Beating Victoria Dudakova, who's a good striker last time. Control on the ground. I think she's live for a finish on the mat, but definitely could see a lopsided decision. I'm going with the A-caliber grappling over the Mexican striker. What do you think, Mike Finch?
I don't know that it's A-caliber grappling. I think that's a lot of love for this young child, Fatima Kline, but it's definitely technically sound. She has an ability to finish. She hunts for the finish, and her striking's pretty tight too. I'm watching Martinez fights and I'm seeing this karate taekwondo stance she gets in. She kicked Elise Reed in the face. She's definitely got some weapons, but I believe that you hit the nail on the head with the takedown being the issue. And it's not like Fatima Kline is a fool on the feet. She's hands up. She switches stances on you. She stays pretty dynamic. I don't think she gets caught with some crazy head kick, because that would be a method for Martinez. And then the other one would be her, kind of putting on a Wonder Boy performance, staying far away, using those legs. Again, I think Fatima Kline crashes in, takes her down, and when she does, probably wraps this thing up, man. Fatima Kline submission or TKO.
I like it. And Trading Champ just dropped the $199.99. Agent, tell Finch what you did. I told him at the beginning of the stream, man. I said we're locking in till 100K. I said it is what
Trading
it is,
Champ keeps my gambling addiction going. Thank you, Trading Champ. Now we can fuck around with the Austen Lane touch. Let's go, Trading Champ. Thank you, brother.
He's going lane.
What's going on over here? Thank you, Trading
Finch.
Champ.
Finch is taking the sign down. He's getting so excited right now. Finch is hype. Yo, Trading Champ, you're a generous savage. Bro, there's nobody like Trading Champ out there. My guy dropped $300 this afternoon, drops $200 here. He says, God bless the people, and God bless him, bro. Shout out to the Trading Champ.
What did he actually say, though?
Me?
AJ, tell Finch what you did. Go on.
I turned down the tickets, man. I had to. I need 100K, man. I need it. I told him I love it. I told him I appreciate it. I told him he's a gem. And one day it'll happen. I'm buckled down. I'm just getting back from vacation. I'm getting back in the groove. I can't mess around again. I took a nice week out, rested, and reset. Now I'm ready to crush this shit. You know what I'm saying?
I love it. Hey, if you're going to get him tickets to something, get him tickets to John Wayne Airport. I'll pick his ass up. We'll do the live show, Trading Champ. Let's go. Live Moneyline in the flesh. We'll get AJ out here. We just got a little kitchen update because we had a fucking leak. So, AJ, we're ready now.
All right. Listen, man. We'll be cooking those fucking sweet potato brownies, my friend. Sweet potato pancakes. That's it.
You talking about putting something in them? What are you talking about, bro?
No, I'm talking about just fucking tasty
just straight up banana pancakes?
Sweet potato is good.
Oh shit. I do like making pancakes, actually. I don't know how to cook, but I can make some fucking pancakes.
Oh, listen, that's a step. Shout out to the Trading Champ. Thank you for $200. I mean, do I really even need to talk about the betting lines here? There's not really much of a conversation. Kline's a minus 1,200. Martinez plus 800. What are we really doing? Kline by submission plus 250. Kline by TKO plus 250. Decision minus 105. Does she lock up the sub? Only one win by submission, but her ground skills are good. Damn, bro. I don't know, man. She might be live to get on the cards. Fucking hell, they're killing me. There's no bet to be made. Jared Nunes, thank you for $19.99. You certified savage. Thank you, bro. What a gangster.
That's funny because I'll tell you right now, I did bet on this fight, but that's all I could say. That's all I could really say.
You bet on this fight? I'm gonna tell you what Mike Finch bet on without even. I think Mike Finch might have bet on the under, looking for plus money. I don't. Maybe bet the over. I don't know.
I'll tell you. You down? You ready?
Yes.
In the free channel, I did the under 2.5.
All right. He's looking.
Under
all right.
Plus. I think Kline gets her out of there. And Trading Champ says Lane ain't winning shit, and I agree.
Yeah. I don't think that's there's no hot take on that. We'll talk about that fight here soon.
You know what's hot? The $20 from Jared Nunes. Thank you, Jared. Appreciate you, dog. 20 is very generous. Thank you.
He's a generous gem. He's a gem to society.
Thank
$20. Big W for Kline. Minus 1,200. Get the fuck out of my face. There's nothing you can do, money line. Mike Finch is an underman for the ladies fight here. I respect it. And I wish him none but the best. W. We're going to keep running because what else we going to say about this fight? You know, there's not much else. We're going Kline. She should win. And officially, we're both picking inside distance, it seems. So if you're going Kline, I think she's live for a finish. Next fight, we got Mike Davis versus Mitch Ramirez. Before I get to the pick, I'll say I was kind of surprised by the matchmaking just because Davis, you know, at one point was on a nice roll, been on the roster a while. Mitch Ramirez currently 0-1 in the UFC, hasn't fought in a year and 3 months. Legs got chopped apart by Thiago Moises. Now they throw in Mike Davis, who had a pretty lackluster performance last time against Fares-Ziam. Came out and kind of looked, I don't know, off-put, weaker than before, gas tank woes. There was some complaints of like in the back, the paint on the wall, but I'm not trying to play too much into that. But there was fresh paint and fighters were having a hard time catching their breath and stuff. I don't know, is what it is. But I do know that I think Mike Davis is better than Ramirez here. Davis is pretty well-rounded. I think he's got dangerous striking. He's efficient, has pretty strong ground game too. Control is there, very physically fit, very physically strong. I don't think anything Mitch Ramirez does makes me say, oh, he can win this fight. His punching, he's okay. I mean, he can rip some punches, but nothing on the feet that he does makes me say, wow, a little bit of takedown threat. But he's getting his legs chopped apart by Thiago Moises and finished. I don't think you're going to beat a Mike Davis. How did Davis do it? If Davis is to really snap back and get hype back, I think it's a finish, right? But I feel like he might play it safe, control-based victory. I can see him winning the striking exchanges, getting the fight to the ground, and just putting on like a shutout type performance. I prefer to see a finish. I think finish is live. I don't know if I'd be like willing to commit to he's definitely getting the finish, though. What do you think, Mike?
He's a finisher. He wins most of his fights by knockout. I mean, I know he had the layoff before the Fares-Ziam fight. I think you saw that in the fight, too. You know, he slowed down and whatnot. But you were high on him before that. I feel your excitement is gone, AJ. You're breaking my heart, bro.
I'm confidently picking him. I'm not telling you it's a confident pick.
It sounds like you're like, I guess, you know, like
no, it's more finish wise.
This motherfucker. I think Ramirez's 2 losses are both via finish. You saw what Thiago Moises did to him. He's been out too. Yeah, I think he's getting served up to Mike Davis. Mike Davis, TKO.
I like that. Hollow Heretic, thank you for gifting a membership, my friend. W. Member streams are back this Thursday. Boom. So Mike Davis to win, money line, 9-1, minus 900. Mike Davis to win inside of the distance, though we can talk minus 155. Mike Davis by KO is plus 150, submissions plus 300. I mean, looking at Davis's record, it's 7 finishes by knockout, 2 subs, 2 decisions. We'll lean towards the KO, especially Ramirez getting handled. I could see him getting cracked by some shots on the feet. I feel like Davis is going to be a lot better than him. I see it as a clear mismatch, and odds agree. Bookies are on the same side of things here. Davis should handle business. So you are feeling the finish. Yeah. I don't know. I guess in my mind, I'm like, oh, does he play it safer to get the takedown? But there's openings that Ramirez has on the feet. I think Davis can capitalize with straight shots. Fucking motorcycle.
You hear this shit? Can you hear this?
Yeah.
Can you hear this? We got fucking, I don't know what that was, 12 motorcycles just fucking wheelies down the street out here. God
that's
damn.
crazy. Holy shit.
Yeah, I think he bounces back nicely here, man. I think that you know, this is the type of fight he needed to bounce back with. Like, you know, Fares-Ziam, is a solid striker and a you know, a tough test for anybody. This is what he needs. He needs a finish here, and then we could start seeing some solid performances from him. I think it starts here. I think he stops him in the second.
Let's go. I like the second round call too. We're going finish. We're going Davis for the W, and should be able to get past the Ramirez test in this one. Let's keep running. Next fight on the card, heavyweight action. Kennedy and Nzechukwu versus Valter Walker. I'm going Valter Walker in this fight. I'm going to go with the grappler, Mike Finch. Let me tell you something, bro. When Valter Walker burst on the scene and fought Dreshki, he was fat. He wasn't in that same condition. Then you see the physical changes. The guy obviously is taking this shit very seriously. He looks a lot leaner. He lost about, 20 pounds on the scale, but he was probably cutting a 265. Who knows how much body fat he trimmed down. I'm expecting the wrestling to be a threat. I'm expecting the takedowns to be there. He's 6'6". We haven't seen Nzechukwu fight somebody this size, right? His heavyweight career is an interesting one in the UFC because he fought Lucas Dreshki, who has a win over Valter Walker. But to be fair, it was chubby Valter Walker in a debut. And then Chris Barnett, who's the shortest heavyweight in MMA history, I believe. So it's not like Nzechukwu has fought a full-fledged.
Jeff Monson?
Jeff Monson's shorter than him? Jeff Monson is 5'9", right?
No, Jeff Monson's 5'6".
No.
Jeff
What?
Monson.
He was 5'6". Let me check. I mean, Tapology's lying. You never know. How tall is he? They got him listed at 5'9".
5'9", homie. Yeah. He ain't 5'9". What?
Oh, shit.
How tall is fucking Barnett?
5'9".
5'9". All right.
So around the same height. Well, one of the shortest heavyweights ever.
Yeah, for sure.
Valter Walker, I think he's going to be able to wrestle all night if need be. I think he's going to be able to outmuscle Nzechukwu. I know Kennedy's got tricky stand-up, but I don't think he's sensational. To be fair, though, he's going to be faster than a lot of these heavyweights. I like the submission game of Walker. I like the physicality of Walker. And I like his chances to win this fight, whether it's a submission or just a dominant grappling display. I'm going to say he gets his hand raised. What do you think, Mike?
Valter Walker has put on a significant amount of muscle. If you look at just the past couple fights back to back and do your tape study, you will just see him blowing up, and you could see his performances blowing up. He's starting to manhandle people. He's falling back on these leg locks, but he's first bullying these guys. He's a little sloppy. He's a little wild, but he's a little crazy in the good way. He's confident. And that's what he's going to need to get past that striking of Kennedy and Nzechukwu. You know, Kennedy and Nzechukwu should be significantly better on the feet. But here's a guy who, if he gets a hold of him, Valter Walker's bigger, stronger, better on the ground, and can really beat you up when you're in that position. And a finisher, you know, I don't know about all these heel hooks because, like, his heel hook game looks all right, and he's getting these heavyweights out of there at the lower level. At some point, I think it's going to backfire on him. That being said, Valter Walker has a very clear pathway here. Bulldoze this motherfucker to the ground, throw heavy punches, and try to get him out of there with a submission or a TKO. Man, am I Humpty Dumpty on this one? I could just see Kennedy and Nzechukwu out kickboxing him clean, moving around that cage, and us being like, man, shouldn't we have known that? I think as goofy as Valter Walker is, I could see it. I could see it too.
All right.
Both of us on the dog. Valter Walker. And yeah, he's crazy, bro. I think he'll get him out of there. He's running, you know, he's really rolling the dice on the feet, though. Kennedy and Nzechukwu a lot better at striking. Valter Walker a lot better when he gets the takedown. We'll have to see who gets their way as far as where the fight takes place.
It's going to be interesting to see Nzechukwu deal with a full-size heavyweight like this, who's an inch taller than him, too. I'm curious how that works. Obviously, he's going to have a range advantage, longer arms by a bit. And yeah, he's the better striker. But as Walker clinches up with him and shoots takedowns, I don't know. I could see him just out-muscling Nzechukwu, finding his, you know, positioning on top, controlling. I like Walker's ground game. And he looked, I mean, people were like, oh, he beat the two worst heavyweights. Fair. But on the flip side, he definitely is beating them in the way that he should, by running them over pretty quick.
I mean, yeah, steamrolling these guys, you know, and the beef he had with Tafa. Tafa was pissed, and we're about to see him fight in this card too. Yeah, Valter Walker's a problem when he gets on top. We're going to learn about Kennedy and Nzechukwu here. We're going to learn how he could deal with a guy who's, like you said, just bigger, stronger, going to try to bully him. I'm interested to see how he does with this test. Yeah, if he ends up on his back, he could be in a world of hurt quick. And Valter Walker putting on all that muscle, it works perfect with his style, man. He is a bully.
He's got a style for it, man. And the thing is, it's not like he just got bigger too. He lost fat. He's shredded. He just looks way better now.
He's a pro now.
I'm going to say that this more serious training regimen and diet that he seems to be on is going to be the key. We're going Valter Walker in this one, and we're going underdog at plus 180. Walker's dog money. Now, if he goes out there and gets a submission, it's 5-1 for a knockout, 6-1. But you got a good money line at plus 180. If maybe you're feeling the dog side, because it's not an impossibility that Valter Walker hits multiple takedowns and wins more of a control-based decision. Because I would assume that with this, leaner and more, chiseled physique that he's coming in with, he's going to have better cardio and maybe a chain wrestling performance, and he becomes a heavyweight Marab or something like that against Nzechukwu.
Holy shit. Heavyweight Marab is crazy. Whoa, too much credit. I don't know about his cardio. There's questions about Walker, of course. And he's a little sloppy, but Marab's not the cleanest either, Yeah. I don't believe in the wrestling at that level, but I do believe in the his ability to just manhandle these guys. So, Marab's technical level changes in wrestling, his actual follow through on his shot is better than Walker. So, but the difference is, AJ, Marab wants 10, 20, 30 takedowns, right? Walker might just need one.
Very fair. Very fair. Listen, Walker to get this fight to the ground, plant that heavy body on top of Kennedy, and let's see what he can do from there. We're going for the grappler. We're going for the young Valter Walker to pull through against Kennedy and Nzechukwu. And let's keep running. Next fight, the ladies are going after it. Kind of a weird one here because Lauren Murphy, I didn't expect to see her back, but making a return here after, essentially a hiatus and a half. She took off 2 years and 5 months. She recently lost to Jessica Andrade. And now she's taking a fight against Eduarda Moura, who's at a right weight class, 125 pounds, strong grappling game. Going to be younger by a decade. I mean, I got to favor the grappling side. And it's not like even Murphy in her prime was that quick of a striker, right? And she doesn't have big power. I see her kind of just getting outworked here, pressed against the cage, taken down. I think the grappling of Moura is going to show itself. And I got to say, I hate the layoff for Murphy. Like I look at, okay, she's nearly 42. If she was fighting all the time, it's like, okay, well, the sword is still sharp. But she's been out. Like something in the earlier days of my analysis, I think I was hyper fixated on the number. Now I don't so much look at just the age by number. I look at the activity and the age. When I see a fighter in their 40s that hasn't fought in 2 years and 5 months, I don't like that look, especially against a young fighter on the come up with good grappling skills. And I think being at the right weight class is going to look better than ever before. Just beat Veronica Hardy, who's an athletic striker and very well-rounded, a lot quicker than Lauren Murphy. Listen, Moura should be able to handle. I think she outworks Murphy. I think she takes it. I could see a decision. I mean, it'd be impressive if she gets a submission, but Lauren Murphy's, a hard woman to get out of there. But it should be the Eduarda Moura show. What do you think, Finch?
Yeah, Murphy likes to bully women. I think it's going to be really hard for her to bully Moura. Moura's, pretty well-rounded, looked good against Veronica Hardy. I do think that she could beat, Lauren Murphy wherever this fight goes. And, you said the very key thing, which is she's been out for a long time. She's, in her 40s at this point. There's just not a lot left for her. I'll bring the psychological aspect in, which is like Moura is looking towards potentially fighting for the title, right? Has aspirations of making a lot of money doing this, as to where Murphy, do you think she really believes she's going to get a title shot at some point? Do you think she's really thinking about it? No, right? It's a couple more fights. All right, let me do a couple more. Let me hit this piggy bank. The mindset difference has to make me get more confident in Moura as well. So martial arts wise, I think Moura can handle it. She's not going to get bullied here. She should be able to handle it in all three phases. And then, the further you break this thing down, the age, the psychology, you got to go Moura here. Although I do think they go long.
Murphy looks like a Waffle House waitress. No, I get it. I'm seeing it.
That is so accurate. That is unfortunately accurate. Hey, can we respect the ladies? Can we get some respect out here, please? Very accurate.
The people think I cut my hair. I just
look at that shit.
I just got it tied up right now.
Man bun.
I would say this is more of a ponytail. I call this a
ponytail.
More of
that looks like a bun, dog. It's like that.
It's bunned up ponytail.
A tail. You know, it's a tail.
It's a pony bun.
Bun is a bun. Okay.
Pony bun.
Okay. AJ with the pony bun. You heard it.
Pony bun. Put some respect on the pony bun. Huh?
That's his new nickname. All right.
Yeah. AJ pony bun. Pony bun. Pony bun. I am the one. Minus 600 for Eduarda Moura. Murphy plus 425. We got some really shitty odds for these first handful, huh? We got an underdog and we got some serious favorites, but she should win. Over 2.5 is minus 285. Though I think Moura's got nasty ground skills, and she's got 5 submissions and 4 knockouts. Lauren Murphy's never been submitted. She was knocked out in the 4th round many years back. Against Valentina in 2021. So I guess is that many years back? Kinda. I think that it should be more out grappling her.
I was trying to look at who's behind that MMA Experts Cup. That's Muhammad Ali, isn't it? Over your left shoulder?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Gotcha. And then Chuck right next to him.
Yeah. I got you never seen the whole slew. I got a lot. You want to see it?
Don Fry up there? Crazy ass Don Fry.
I got John Jones over here. I got Dust coming out too. Got John Jones over here.
Yo,
check this out, Vince. Check this out.
Oh shit!
I got an old magazine classics right here. I actually got this at an event. What was it? XFC, something like that. Extreme Fighting Championship, way back in the day.
Nice.
It was at the USF Sundome when I was in like fucking 3rd, 4th grade.
3rd grade.
Yeah.
God damn. That's crazy,
bro.
That's young. Wow. No, those are cool back there. No, I never had you give me a studio tour.
Yeah.
So.
That's some cool.
Hit me with the one right next to John Jones. Looks like fucking Sub-Zero from here.
Here?
What is that?
It's Dusty. It's Kimbo Slice.
The legend. Bro, how many fights I've been in over Kimbo Slice? The other one's Bruce Lee. People be loving these guys. I remember in high school, people were like, Kimbo Slice is the best fighter in the world. I'm like, guys, he would get smashed in the UFC. People are like, nah, you don't understand. He's the best in the street. I'm like, guys, it doesn't matter if it's in the street, in a cage. I'm telling you, Randy Couture beats that ass. Whoever it was at the time, right? Yeah. And, and Kimbo's great, by the way. Glad he did The Ultimate Fighter. He's a bad motherfucker for doing MMA in the first place. You got to respect it. Not everybody actually, puts it to the test like that. So instead of beating up crackheads in backyards, he actually stepped in the cage. So respect to Kimbo, AJ. Very cool.
Respect to Kimbo. Kimbo was one of my OG favorites, man. For sure.
Is that right?
Yeah. I remember when he busted up Thompson's ear. I thought you were
going to say Houston Alexander because that was pretty impressive.
I remember the debut where he beat Houston Alexander. I thought that was cool. Catch weight fight. Yeah. And then I remember when Seth Petrozelli put him out. That was sad, bro. I was in 4th grade. That was disappointing. I remember like somehow the teacher brought up, I don't know, it's like AOL. And there's a big picture of Seth Petrozelli like this. And like people don't know MMA at that time. Like, what the hell is that? I'm like, you guys don't understand.
4th grade. That's fucking crazy. Yeah, I'm so much older. I recall very well the Seth Petrozelli fight. I was very excited. It was very
Elite XC, bro. That was dope back in the day.
Dirty.
Holy shit.
Dirty. They went back and they asked Seth Petrozelli, they're like, don't shoot on him.
Wow.
They're like, you strike with him. Seth Petrozelli like,
but Seth's a striker anyways.
Yeah, exactly. They're so stupid. They shouldn't have made the matchup. You remember who it was supposed to be?
Ken. And he got cut backstage. I remember.
Who?
Ken Shamrock.
Ken Shamrock. AJ's a big fan for knowing that. Ken Shamrock. That's an MMA expert there, folks. Ken fucking Shamrock pulls out a couple hours before the fight.
That was crazy.
I mean, it changed history because Ken Shamrock would have went out there. He probably would have got slept.
Can you imagine that world, right? Because Ken trying to strike with him would have been death if he wasn't allowed to shoot. Ken striking was like archaic.
Yeah, I mean, he had a moment. Ken was all right really early on, but there came a point where Ken just decided to cash out. There's an old story from Joe Rogan where he was in the casino at night in Vegas the night before Ken Shamrock was going to fight Tito. It was the second or third time, I can't remember. And he saw Ken Shamrock out there. He's like, Ken, it's 2 a.m. Like, what are you doing out here gambling? He's like, it's all right, blah, blah, blah. Ken goes out there, fucking turtles up, TKO finish. You think Ken was really trying to win that fight?
He's trying to get paid. They probably had bets on Tito all night.
You said it, not me.
Hey, listen. Hey, Casual Degenerate, thank you for the 5. Yo, AJ Finch and KZ held it down while you were gone, and I didn't lose a single bet. Well, congrats, man. What were the bets last week? You were throwing down the PFL?
He might have went with my 5 most confident picks, which all landed.
Let's go. Let's go. There's no fights last week, though. You're talking about last week.
Oh, that's what I was talking about. Before that. Are we
no. It was a good.
Held it down where you're going. I didn't lose a single. Oh, I get it's a joke.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. That's funny. Thank you, Casual Degenerate.
Thank you, brother.
Holy shit.
A regular.
What a classic time, man. Classic times. Throwback. The old era shit.
Yeah, I remember wearing the Ultimate Fighter Season 1 t-shirt in 7th grade. And people being like, what's that? What's that? I'm like, it's fighting. They're like, I remember my teacher asking me, she was like, you mean like the WWF? I'm like, no, it's real. She's like, how do you know it's real? Like that was back. That was where the sport. She's like, no, kid, it's fake. I'm like, no, bitch, it's real. I swear, that's where it started,
That's wild. That's throwback, man. That's before people knew.
People that these were real fights. That's where it started. I haven't done that in a minute. It's been a minute since I've had to do that.
Yeah, that's crazy. And nobody used to watch, bro. Like I remember being a kid, and even when I started the channel, but like I remember especially like being a hardcore fan. Like when I was doing kickboxing as a kid, I knew like a kid in the class, one of them, only one motherfucking kid was like, yo, bro, yeah, I watched UFC. And then a couple of the, the older dudes that were there would watch. But like then I was in school, bro. I don't know one person, nobody, even high school, that watched. It was not a thing. People watched Floyd. They watched Miguel Cotto. It was that. It was Pacquiao. But yo, MMA really, I think the explosion was post-COVID, right? After that, it was like, now everybody's a fan. But I remember when you don't meet fans. If you met a fan, you probably would have a friend off rip. But I don't know meeting any fans in real life. I would honestly just talk to myself about it. I remember watching Ariel Helwani's show. Like that was how I felt like, even though I'm not saying that, there's no live chat back then.
That's what people do this, bro. That people are hanging out with us right now because of that reason, I used to do the chat rooms though. I had MySpace. Yeah. So me and Shane Burgos, shout out to Shane Burgos. Cool. He was Shane B on MySpace. We go back and forth all day, every day, bro. Shane was a huge Crow Cop fan.
That's crazy.
Chuck Liddell fan.
Holy
etc. So yeah, fuck yeah. Me and Shane used to go back and forth all the time. I mean, I spent hours upon hours talking to Shane because similar thing. However, I would convince all my good friends to like it. All my friends ended up liking. My buddy Sam Adamek had an MMA fight. My buddy Kenny had an MMA fight too. My buddy Robbie had an MMA fight. They all ended up loving it after, they would hang out with me and we would train and we would watch fights. So I'm infectious, bro.
You are. Listen, bro. You are. That's good shit, man. That's classic. That's the era. Not everybody around, knows of the UFC. Yeah, all the people.
3 of you watching live.
Well, it's good. It works, right?
Of you watching the replay game.
Thousands. It works, right? That we have the community now. And it's nice to like chat every day, have fans to talk with. And it's also, I really enjoy hosting the hub for the conversation. It's cool for me to see, like, as the kid who didn't have nobody to talk about the fights with, I'm glad to give the people a place to talk about. Because on the other side, it was annoying. You can't really, like, you wanted banter, right? Like, you don't have anybody to banter with. It was such an interesting thing. Like this is so cool, but I have no one to tell it about. Nobody really cared. Like, obviously my dad, my brother, but like outside of my household, there was nobody. I'd say something like, what are we talking about? UFC? Oh, I don't know nothing about that.
Right. Yeah, it helps. It helps to have that, that crowd, but that's what the internet's for too.
Let's go. It's the best, man. Listen, we're going fucking Moura. We're going on side tangents. Let's get to the next fight. We got Jake Matthews versus Chidi Bang Bang and Njokuani. Finch, I'm gonna let you hold down the fort for this one because
I wanted to hear yours. I'll
go first then. No, let me go first then.
All right.
I'll go first. I like to let you get the floor on some because sometimes I feel like I just, I run it.
No, I'll go, but just don't change your pick, okay? You know your pick?
I know my pick. It's locked in.
Okay. I got Chidi and Njokuani. I think Chidi and Njokuani outstrikes him. I like the dynamic kicking game. I do believe he can keep it on the feet here. I think Chidi and Njokuani's not chinny like people keep hating on him. They're saying he's chinny. He's saying he's aging. I think he's looking sharp. He's training with a great group. Like I hear things about training with Chidi and Njokuani in the gym, how technically sound he is. I do think that comes through here. I think his dynamic ability on the feet really helps here. His speed. I think he could out kickbox a Matthews, man. 29-28. Chidi and Njokuani getting it done. Come on, AJ.
I am picking. You don't know. Chidi Bang Bang to get it done. I believe in my guy. I fucking fumbled last fight and thought, oh no, no. Chidi Bang Bang has found comfortability at this weight class. I like that he's staying consistent with fights, seems to be keeping his body weight down, but he missed weight last time. So the scales always will worry me with Chidi at 170 because he's a tall guy and he's lanky, even at 185. But I like his style.
Yeah.
Jake Matthews is all right, but he's getting too much hype right now. Like he lost to Michael Morales, and it's like, oh, he went the distance, but it was a different Michael Morales. It's like, all right, he beat Phil Rowe, but all right, Phil Rowe's decent. Phil Rowe's my guy. I had him as a savage dog lock against Lucy. He came through, but okay, it's being Rowe. And then last time he beat Prado. Prado's a tough prospect. I think that Njokuani, technically sound, clean Muay Thai game, elusive, dangerous too, in close range and in long range. I think Chidi can win. I like his Muay Thai game. I like the clinch. I like the elbows, deceptive knees to the body. I'm going to pick him over Jake Matthews, man. I think it's Chidi. Chidi finds a way.
Ah, man, my brother. Let's go. Yeah, I got Chidi here too. Yeah, the weight cut is definitely something to look at. It's definitely one that I'll have fun with. Post weigh-in show, I do the full card predictions now. I will definitely, take a good hard look at how he looks on the scale.
It's a good look. Listen, it's the way to go. As far as the odds, Chidi's a favorite at -155. We got Matthews at +135 on the other side. The over is -200. I can see this fight going longer. I think Chidi can outstrike him, man. I cannot get Jake Matthews' loss to Matt Semmelsberger out of my head, bro. Especially the downfall of Semmelsberger.
Yeah.
That's aged terrible, right? But then he's, done all right since then. But I think Chidi can win this fight, man. I think he's still got some fights left. He's 36, but he's a young 36. He fights all the time. He's had 5 fights over the past 2 years and 3 months. He's already fought, in the past 8 months, twice now, staying consistent, getting comfortable again, missing weight, but getting down to the close to 171 mark. I think he can beat Jake Matthews.
Yeah. And I think decision is the right call. Jake Matthews is tough. He's made it long with big punchers like a Michael Morales. But yeah, Chidi's styling on him, man. That reach, bro. That reach and his ability he has a lot of weapons in the toolkit to use at that green zone range. Chidi and Njokuani decision.
Let's go. Finch and I both going Chidi Bang Bang for the dub. That makes me happy, Finch. I'm glad, man. Because I think people are, jumping on the Matthews side as an underdog, which I don't think is crazy, right? His hands are pretty good. He's really experienced, but I've never been a big Jake Matthews believer. I don't know. It's just, I think Chidi can handle business here. I'm going Chidi. We're going Chidi. And let's keep running. We got the feature prelim of the night up next. Going after it. We got Chris Curtis versus Max Griffin. Now, I'm going to pick Chris Curtis. He's dropping back down to 170, and it's been a little while since we've seen 170-pound Chris Curtis, but damn, I think this is the right fight for him. Max Griffin, almost 2 years older than him at 39, been trading wins and losses for a while. And, he just got pretty badly handled by Chiesa. Obviously, very different matchup. Curtis, boxing-based style, right? And then on the opposite side, Griffin fought against a dynamic somewhat dynamic threat of submissions and wrestling controlling Chiesa. Now he gets another striker, and Griffin obviously likes to kickbox. Curtis got a lot more power. I think Curtis is definitely better with his hands. I feel like the cut to 170 is not going to be as detrimental as it would be for some other, near 38-year-olds, because Chris Curtis was kind of an undersized middleweight but he made up for it with really solid southpaw boxing and power. And he's able to close the gap on people. And like, he gave Brendan Allen all he could handle in a back and forth war in their rematch. And he was close to getting that fight. Ultimately, like, tore up his hamstring at the end. But if he lands a big punch, that fight goes his way. So going 50-50 with Allen, and then fight afterwards, Roman Kopylov obviously is, fucking terrifying and handles him. But Kopylov is of a different caliber. I think he can pass the Max Griffin test. I think he can land bigger shots. I could see him getting a decision. Griffin normally eats a good punch, and he does move pretty well. And it's not like Max Griffin is like a can or anything like that. Max Griffin, he's one of those guys. He's just been around forever, right? He's been just on the roster, 8-9 in the UFC. I remember when he beat Mike Perry, which was a big, seemingly a big upset at the time. That was way back in 2018. And yeah, he was a big underdog. He was plus 260. I feel like Chris Curtis could land big shots. I think he can outbox him. I think if somebody's getting hurt, it's Griffin. But I'm leaning decision, though, with Curtis cutting down. We'll see. We'll see how he looks. What do you think, Finch?
Yeah, Curtis not the best finisher. Curtis not the most dangerous man on the card, but very durable, very hard to take down. I do think Max Griffin is going to be stuck on the feet with them. And then I think Curtis on the feet can win these rounds, man. Like you said, with the boxing, he's got this Philly shell he uses. He also uses pressure, volume. I do believe Chris Curtis gets this thing on the cards. I could see it being a 30-27 where he's just doing his thing with Max Griffin, who, the records are similar, and I see people say, they're in similar spots in their career, but I think Chris Curtis has performances left. He's obviously the bigger name of the two. Maybe that's not obvious, right? The bigger name of the two, and I believe he's going to have some marquee fights coming up here. I like Chris Curtis via decision.
And I like him at 170.
Yeah.
I think it kind of, breathes some life back in his career. He was right on that top 15 cusp of the middleweight division, and obviously taking some L's since then. Had even the Gastelum fight, if you really look back at it, that fight was seriously changed with a gnarly head clash between the two. Curtis he's tough to beat, man. And listen, let's not forget, Chris Curtis was able to knock out Joaquin Buckley. Yeah, it was back in 2022, but still very impressive win. I feel like Chris Curtis can get past the Max Griffin, and I think he's got a good chance to keep his career moving forward, and some more fun fights at 170.
How about Chris Curtis and Sean Strickland grabbing that motherfucker? Chris Curtis grabbed him by the back and says, "What the fuck are you saying, bro? What are you doing?" And Sean Strickland just came in there. Boom, boom.
That's funny as shit.
Sean was pissed. Sean lost his shit, Chris Curtis was more like, let's talk now, gave him a little bit. That dude was fucking boom. He was not giving a fuck. He was disrespecting the OGs, so he deserved it.
That was funny. That guy's actually a police officer by day.
What the fuck?
I know.
Bro, funny. Did you know that John Jones was going to school to be a police officer? Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, John Jones wanted to be a cop. Can you imagine, dude? What the fuck?
Shit.
Flash forward, he's headbutting the police car,
That's crazy.
Holy fuck, man. That guy should not be a cop. They need to play that video at the police
Maybe
station.
Post-fighting, that's his plans.
What, arrest motherfuckers?
That's it.
John?
John, he's getting on the right side of the law post-fighting.
Bruh. Right side of the law? He just got arrested again, didn't he?
I said post-fighting. He's not done yet.
Jesus Christ, he just retired. You're right. He's back in the pool. So which side are you on? You're the one who just said he retired. Now he's back in it. Which
no, he didn't. I said it was like a false retirement. It was a game.
Yeah. He wants to fight at the White House, bro.
Who wouldn't? Even Conor McGregor is pitching it. Yo, if you
when does Conor not pitch it? That's the thing. It's like Conor's like, attention. You know what I mean? Conor is just Conor will just throw his name in whatever hat. That's what he's doing. I don't know. He just wants to be a part of the conversation. I don't get it. John, I take actually seriously if he commits to it. I think John really does want to fight at the White House. I think Conor is saying he wants to fight at the White House.
That's fair. You hear Rampage said that he took testosterone in the lead up for the Ultimate Fighter season 10. So he was talking to Bradley Martin, they were talking about when he ripped the door down, he said he was on testosterone. But he said he didn't know that was, considered a steroid, because he always said, I never took steroids, I've been natural my whole career. But that comes out that he was on test. I was like, wow, everybody really was juicing back then. Everybody. I know Jones.
I mean, Dan Henderson was on the TRT, Vitor Belfort, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Rampage fought Dan Henderson, you know. So when you're fighting somebody who's on it, you know, I don't think Rampage was trying to cheat.
No, I think he said, listen, they told him it was natural. That's what he said.
I mean, what's natural about rubbing cream? Like, what is he taking?
That's what he said. I'm just telling you what he said.
Yeah, it's natural, bro. Okay, why don't your balls produce it if it's natural? Why are you rubbing it on, dog?
He thought it was like taking, you know, magnesium or something like that.
Jesus Christ. He knew it wasn't magnesium, AJ. Stop.
That's what he said.
They knew exactly what the fuck they were doing. Their dick was like this in the morning, you know. They knew exactly what they were doing.
Never
AJ
felt so good.
They woke up, their blanket was like boom, you know.
They're
they
ready
knew
for
exactly
war.
what they were fucking doing. But you know, it is there's something to be said about when other people are doing, when your opponent, not just other people, when your opponent's doing it. Being on steroids against somebody who's not is like bringing a knife. It's like bringing a weapon. You have this unfair advantage. And Rampage fought in pride. I mean, you know, Rampage has definitely fought. He fought Vandalay multiple times. I ain't saying, but you know, I'm like, bro, there was some sauce. So, you know.
The sauce is back, I think, in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the drug test is a little easier now. I'm not saying you're going to take everything, but low dose, I'm going to say, I assume there's low dose being used again.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. I understand the, you know, the argument that, you know, USADA was gone and people thought, okay, is it a green light again? You know, yeah, people seem to be moving up in weight classes, not down.
Things are changing. I don't know. Yeah,
Chris Curtis is moving down.
He's moving down. Listen, he's all natural. I think all natural. Chris Curtis taking it home as a fat favorite though, -315. But she'll win. I like his chances. I don't really love the prop bet inside decisions, -140, KO +300. I'm leaning that decision side. And yeah, it's an ugly favorite line, but I think Chris Curtis is winning.
Yeah, Chris Curtis decision.
Let's go. Chris Curtis for the dub. Myself, the Finch man. Let's keep moving. Next fight on the card. It brings us to our main card opener. If you guys are watching and enjoying, hit that damn like button. And if you just tuning in for the first time, maybe you caught a couple streams, you haven't hit subscribe, make sure you subscribe because closing in on 50,000 subscribers. We're going to hit it this week. Make sure you guys subscribe to the damn channel. Starting it off, we got Junior Tafa versus Tuco Tokkos. I feel like him moving down Tafa to 205 and looking good on the scales is a big factor. I saw a picture I got sent to on Instagram that he looked pretty good. He looked looks like he lost a lot of body fat. He's definitely a better striker. The worry is just ground game. But I'm gonna pick Tafa. I think he could knock a Tokkos out, but it's like a huge red flag around his ground skills. Like that's the truth of it all. And last fight, his cardio didn't look good either. So, you know, there's definitely some what ifs leading into this one. Definitely not like a, oh shit, Tafa, lock it in. But I do think Tafa's hands are a factor. His stand-up game's legit. Tokkos is a big dude, tough customer, but I feel like Tafa could hurt him in this fight, and I think he could put him away. But Tokkos does have good ground skills, and, you know, it's not like he has exceptional ground skills, but he's solid on the ground. If he could land a takedown, get on top, take the back, maybe some ground and pound, live for a finish there. But if they're striking, I think it's definitely Tafa live for the KO.
Yeah. It's a tough one, man. It's a tough one to call because of the holes in Tafa's game, you know. I do like the move as well, but the last good win Tokkos got was back in, what, 2021? You know, 2022, I guess. Anybody good he's fought, he's gotten, you know, on the wrong end of. The Navajo-Sterling fight wasn't that one-sided, I guess. Like, he made Navajo-Sterling work a little bit, but he made me think Umar C was good. You know, Ming Yang Zhang smoked him, but that's to be expected. His wins in 2023 and 2024 were against a dude who was 1-7, and Myron Dennis, who was 19-10 at the time. You know, so I just don't have a good indication of, can Tokkos be a mixed martial arts fighter here, mix it up, take him down. that would be smart. You know, it would be very smart to just shoot takedowns and mix it up. He does have 2 submission victories on Tafa, you know, because Tafa packs a lot of power. He's got the boxing. Samoan
power.
Certainly looks Samoan. Yeah. So that's an issue. Yeah, kind of a coin flip of a fight for me, man. Hit me with the odds real quick.
Right now, Tafa is a -160 and Tokkos is +140.
I think Tafa could get it done, but big red flag with the lack of grappling.
Big red flag. It's one of those sit down and enjoy yourself, but I'm picking Tafa type of fights. Tafa by KO is -120. If the fight goes over a round and a half, it's +105. Under at -135. I think Tafa wins, but it's not like a confident call, and it can't be with Tafa's subpar ground skills. But an in-shape Tafa that can find his rhythm striking can definitely knock Tokkos out. The worry is him on his back.
Yeah, God. Yeah, he's like a turtle you flipped over, you know, flailing. Yeah, it's bad, guys. It's not UFC level, you know. You know, I see fighters a lot better on the ground in the XFO, you know, so I'll go Tafa because he has power. You know, it's not like if Tokkos gets caught with a left hook, it's a wrap. It could be. I mean, Navajo Sterling has some power too, and Tokkos is able to make it 3 rounds, but you saw how Ming Yang Zhang put him out, etc. Could be one of those performances, man. Tafa KO, but I ain't betting on it.
Fuck no. I think this is you sit back, you enjoy, and we'll see if Tafa can get some rhythm going at 205, because definitely a good move. I think his frame is better for light heavyweight.
Yeah.
Listen, if he looks better, he could look better than ever before, right? This could be his best performance of his life, dropping down in weight. He's got some visible abdominals and shit, you know, not looking skinny fat. That's a big change, and it's a positive one. And he's been talking about the cut down to 205. So I'm glad he's making it. I'm excited to see what he can do. And a win against Tokkos definitely necessary to keep his UFC career alive. Because I'll say, I think loser gets cut from the UFC.
Sheesh, bro. The divisions, though, heavyweight and 205, they need people. I'm gonna say that, and they stick around.
You think so?
Yeah, they need people, bro. Tai Tuivasa is a top 10 heavyweight.
That is crazy.
That's crazy. Me and my buddy were talking today. Hold up. Shout out to Jeremy. He's sending me lists and shit of all the heavyweights that are better. Like, he's sending me old school heavyweights. I ain't got to do that to you guys, but let me just like read the last one. Where are you, Jeremy? Jeremy, where are you when I talk about you on my show? Here we go. He said at one point, heavyweight had Cain Velasquez, Junior Dos Santos, Alistair Overeem, Daniel Cormier, Fabricio Verdum, Roy Nelson, Andrei Arlovsky, Brock Lesnar, Shane Carwin. You know, he's got a few others on here. You know, it's like they're better than most of these heavyweights in the top 10, which is crazy. It's like heavyweight got worse, you know? Yeah. So, and light heavyweight has a similar story. That used to be the prime division. That's Shogun Hua, Mauricio, Mauricio Shogun Hua. I meant Lyoto Machida, Vanderlei Silva, you know, Chuck Liddell, Rampage, Dan Henderson. The list goes on.
I felt like light heavyweight was the best. Like,
yes.
At one point.
What the fuck is going on now? You know? No, I don't think they could afford to cut these guys.
Yeah,
they're on the main card, bro. They're on the main card.
True. Well, Tafa to get his hand raised is going to be a call for both of us, but you're playing with fire as far as throwing heat down on this one. Let's keep running. Next fight on the card, we got heavyweights going after it. Petrino making his UFC heavyweight debut, taking on Austen Lane. I'm going Petrino to separate Lane from consciousness. I think he can pull this one out. Now, to be fair, Lane did land a nice shot on Mario Pinto in his last fight. And he had a good first round before getting knocked out. And he's had good first rounds. Even against Janiz, he was in the mount. But Vitor Petrino's got a strong enough ground game. I know people say, oh, he sucks on the ground. He got subbed by Anthony Smith. He put himself into a ghillie, which was terrible. He picked him up and just got locked into it. And it's not like Anthony Smith doesn't have reaction ability. He can find submissions. And then obviously Dustin Jacoby brutally starched him, but it's not like he was looking terrible in that fight. And we saw Jacoby just look like a killer against Bruno Lopez last time. I think Vitor Petrino is going to be able to outstrike Austen Lane. I think he can get the knockout. I think he has to. Petrino was a hype prospect, man. Came in red hot. Everybody was high on him, and now he's lost 2 in a row. Moving up to heavyweight. He's a big dude. Maybe this is the best thing for him. Still a young guy in his 20s. Austen Lane, ex-pro football player, physically strong, decent athlete, can tackle people if need be. But ultimately, more of a striker / brawler on the feet. I think that Lane being taller and punching downward gets him caught by those fucking looping shots that Petrino likes to drop. And at heavyweight, Petrino could be more terrifying with his power. I think he's getting a knockout. I think Petrino by KO has got to be the call.
I'm concerned. Somebody asked me on my 5 Most Confident show, they're like, is Petrino a lock? I'm like, dude, how? Like, how am I going to go out and, after those performances? Like, he's wild. If you're scoring him in the video game, right? His offense, dangerous, right? His defense,
not there.
Like, I feel like Austen Lane could boom make him walk into some shit and put him out. Yeah, fuck yeah, I do. Petrino throws wild shit with his head on the center line. When he misses big. Like, Petrino throws that wild shit and his head's right there. You make a miss and you fucking go. Petrino should win. Petrino's better. Yes, his submission game's better. Austen Lane's gotten a little bit better with the grappling, but he's still pretty fucking green. He's bigger. He's probably just as strong, but I saw how stupid the odds were. I mean, you want to hit me with him?
Yeah. Minus 700 for Petrino, plus 500 for Lane.
What are we talking about? They're going to, you know what I mean? No, first off, no fucking way. I'm betting on minus 700 Petrino. Talk about a parlay buster. I'm tempted to go Lane. Petrino's a lot more talented. Petrino had some bad performances, but I have to take notice of the lack of ability to defend an opponent's offense. Somebody goes for a submission on him, they get it. Somebody starts swinging at him, they knock him down. It's like, I have to notice that, Austen Lane's not that fast, but he is a fucking heavy-handed guy who could make something happen, I think they're rolling the dice in there. I do. Yeah, today I'll go Petrino.
Lane has all 6 of his losses by knockout. Something to know. And I think Petrino is going to touch that chin too, man. I see a Petrino KO. I don't think Lane could absorb a big one. And I don't see Lane knocking Petrino out. Like, Petrino lost to Jacoby, but to be fair, Jacoby's a caliber striker, and he got subbed up by Anthony Smith. It was a terrible look, to be fair, but I don't know. I don't see him losing this one. I think at heavyweight, maybe he looks better. I'm curious to see how he fills into this heavyweight frame. Like, is Petrino coming in at 240, 250, 235? I don't know.
Exactly. Another one where weigh-ins make sense. I want to see the stare down too. I want to see what these guys look like next to each other. Yeah. I don't think the weight cut was the problem for Petrino.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice having a big light heavyweight, but yeah, the divisions do have different speeds they operate at. There's the game changes a little bit. So maybe Petrino being a little faster is a key detail here. Maybe he gets to the target first, but I'll tell you what, closer to 50-50 than 7-1.
I think that the odds are definitely enormous here. Even at open, it was minus 650, but I think this is Petrino's fight, man. I just don't see him losing to Lane.
Or just bottom end heavyweights, right? That's really what Lane is representing. Like, how does Petrino do against bottom end heavyweights? Sounds like AJ says fine.
I think fine. I think if you now move them up to guys that are pretty good, if you, put them against some of the better ones in the heavyweight division, now things get testy. Tai Tuivasa, that's a scary fight. That's a scary fight for him.
That's number 10.
That's a scary fight for him. And even if we don't even have to go that far up, I mean, how would I feel about him fighting against even, Thomas Peterson? That might be a scary fight, right? Because Peterson's got some wrestling. He can box a bit. Even, Mo Usman versus Petrino. all right, different matchup, but against Lane, he's got to come on. Come on,
Okay.
bro. He's got to pass. Because Lane is not going to be able to out-wrestle him. That's the thing. Like, Lane did it against Rebellis, shut down the striking.
Right.
Petrino, he's not getting taken down and controlled. I think he's landing a thunderous punch and putting Lane to bed.
Petrino knockouts live. Let's go with Petrino KO, but I'm going to let this one marinate over the week, man. I'm going to contemplate a wild bet on Austen Lane. Not that Austen Lane's bettable. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But when you bet like 7-1 out of 7, I mean, come on.
Petrino KO round 1 plus 250.
Yeah,
I think he does it in round 1.
Betting on this fight just anything with Petrino's name on it sounds like acid. I can't touch it.
That's fair.
But yeah, I hear you. Yeah, it ending in the first round is very live. That is true.
Plus 225, actually, not plus 250. I'm going Petrino. Let's go knockout. Let's say it's violent. I say he does the thing. I believe. I like Petrino, man. I'm a Petrino fan, and I don't think he can lose this one.
Whoa.
Impossible.
Whoa.
Impossible.
Bold move. As a bold move. Okay.
Hey, let's go. Let's keep running. We're both going Petrino. Next fight on the card, we got Nate Landwehr versus Morgan Charrière. Finch, I'll let you break this one down for us.
Nate the Train up in this bitch. Nate the Train likes to go out there and bully people. And you know who don't get bullied? Morgan fucking Charrière. The dude is powerful. The dude he's a full mixed martial arts fighter. He can strike. He can wrestle. I do believe he's going to be too much for a Nate the Train who's going to need those takedowns, need that bullying pressure. Nate the Train might make it a great fight, but we're talking about winners here. I think Morgan Charrière runs away with this one. Late finisher decision.
Yeah, I think Charrière is way too slick. He's crisp with his striking. He's got a well-rounded game, like you said. I think he's too accurate. I see Landwehr getting caught a lot. Landwehr absorbs a shitload of damage, even in the fights that he wins. And I got a Charrière who's in great shape and obviously coming off of a lopsided L. But it was against a very technically sound Nathaniel Wood. This is a very different matchup. This is, like you said, this is a brawler coming forward, throwing heat, making it a war. I don't think that Nate Landwehr can match Morgan Charrière in the technical aspect of striking. But like you said, even in the grappling, I think Charrière could get him to the ground. I really think that, you can look at the Nathaniel Wood loss and you can flame Morgan Charrière, or you can take it as, okay, very technically sound guy in Nathaniel Wood gave him, a lopsided loss, but he went after it with Chepe Mariscal and lost a razor thin decision. And Chepe Mariscal is a fucking berserker. Honestly, Chepe and Nate Landwehr would be crazy. But the ability to go hard for 3 rounds like that's a green flag. And then also, I mean, Nate Landwehr hasn't fought since the Duho Choi loss, where he was handled pretty bad. Even against Jamal Emmers in the fight before, he was getting stung up a bit. I think this should be Charriere's fight. I think he can pull through. And I think Reyes Padilla is a savage for $20. He says, AJ Finch, man, just want to say thanks for the picks for 317. Ended up being one of the best birthdays I've ever had. Spent my birthday at 317 and ended up winning a little more than 1,400. You guys the best. Appreciate y'all. Yo, shout out, bro.
Congratulations, dog. Let's fucking go. What a birthday, homie. Congratulations, man. I hope you spent it all in one place. No, I'm just kidding. Congrats, dude. Thank you for the 22. Very generous of you. Hey, this is my boy Jeremy. I told you, the guy who texted me about all the heavyweights.
Yeah.
So shout out to Jeremy. That's actually a picture of him at my wedding in his photo there. Landwehr's crazy heart, win or lose. He's a guy I'd always watch fight. Bro, I mean, Landwehr, Nate the Train, he's crazy. He's legitimately crazy, and it works out being a cage fighter. That's a good profession for him.
It fits. I think he's a savage. I love his style. He's fun to watch, but I don't see him winning against a 29-year-old Charrière, who I think pretty well versed and just sharper. That's the key thing that stood out to me, is Morgan Charrière is sharper. And, Nate the Train can make it a brawl, and I think he could go 3 hard, but I think he's going to lose. It's either, like you said, late finish Charrière. Maybe he knocks Landwehr out. I'll be honest. Landwehr gets hit a lot. Shit, he could get, who knows? He can get caught even earlier. I think, but it's definitely a Charrière pick.
But Landwehr, his cardio's on point. Like, I'm giving him credit where he has good recovery. And so I don't think it ends in the first round. I assume he can recover from being hurt, but if he's on bottom, if he's working back up, he's not fighting his fight. So Morgan Charrière getting this thing done.
Let's go. Morgan Charrière is a bit of a favorite, minus 270. I do think fair. I mean, it's wider than I'd like to see, but it should be a victory. Charrière to win by knockout around plus 215. And then Charrière to win by decision plus 145. It should be a Charrière W in this matchup here. And I think knockout is live, but Landwehr's toughness could keep it going for 3 hard. Should be a Charrière W, a little 2-leg parlay type of thing.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, I'd say one of the more confident ones. Again, I love watching Nate the Train fight. It ain't that. But when you're picking winners, it's a tough fight for him.
Yeah. Charrière to pull through for Finch, for myself. And let's get to the featured fight of the night. We got Calvin Kattar versus Steve Garcia. Listen, I broke this fight card down in New England. You think I was going to pick against Kattar as I'm doing in New England? I was on the road for the first breakdown of the week. All right. I'm going with Calvin Kattar to pull through. Last fight for Calvin Kattar, he fought a very elusive striker in Youssef Zalal, who he had a really hard time tracking down. Had to chase him for the majority of the fight and then started finding success in round number 3. Steve Garcia is in your face, ready to bang, throwing fucking hammers, and is a very enjoyable brawler to watch that delivers impactful knockouts and just danger throughout the fight. But I think that Calvin Kattar's boxing could be difficult for Garcia. I think Kattar could hit him with some straight shots. Also, Calvin Kattar's always had an iron chin. You remember how many significant strikes he absorbed against Holloway?
I knew you're going there.
My God, Calvin Kattar's chin is unreal. His only knockout loss is the injury with Arnold Allen. And it's like, okay, Youssef Zalal was able to pick him apart, stay moving, and then win a decision, but it's a completely different matchup. Steve Garcia's in his face, and I think Calvin Kattar could land some thunderous shots. I think they could engage in a really fun 3-round fight. I'm not ready to say Calvin Kattar's getting knocked out, and I'm also not ready to say that Steve Garcia is getting this thing on the cards. Something tells me Calvin Kattar finds a way. He's on a 4-fight losing streak, I know, but when you dig into the losing streak, I don't think it's as red flaggy as maybe all the reds around the L's would have you believe in. The Josh Emmett fight was a razor-thin decision, and I think it could have went the way of Kattar. Fight after that, he was injured against Arnold Allen. Of course, an injury is a bad sign. Then he lost to Aljamain Sterling, who was an absolute grappling savage and did great against Movsar Evloev in a back-and-forth grappling fight. And then last time, Youssef Zalal with a technical win, and Kattar starting to look good towards the end of the fight. He now takes on a surging Steve Garcia, who's coming off of an impressive win against Kyle Nelson. But, the Kyle Nelson level and the Calvin Kattar level, a little bit different. Sung Woo Choi victory, but Sung Woo Choi has kind of been proven as it can. Melky Costa's decent, right? Melky's on a roll right now, but still lower caliber featherweight. Beat Norden Bekke. Norden Bekke's beat Chase Hooper. That's aged pretty well. Chase Hooper moved up to lightweight and has been looking a lot better. I don't think Steve's knocking Kattar out, so he's going to go out and win a decision. That's what I'm asking myself. I don't know. I feel like Steve's got to get him out early. I don't think he's going 3 hard with him. And I think if he does, I think it's 3 hard favoring the side of Kattar, getting a back and forth win. I'm saying Kattar keeps it alive. He ain't going out 5 down. I'm going Kattar with the double.
Dang, he went with old man Kattar. He said New England cartel still dangerous in this bitch. Well, I think Jeremy hit a key thing here. He offered 0 offense. My problem is old man Calvin Kattar's lack of offense. You might, hey, Mike, he had Youssef Zalal running away from him. No, Youssef Zalal was so much better than him that he took the 3rd round off. Why do you guys keep doing, not you, AJ, but I'm saying, why does the internet keep doing this where, Joe Pyfer, man, he was letting Kelvin get the better of him? No, they were taking rounds off. They're taking time off. They're so up. They're so much better that they're like, well, how much risk do I want to take, right? That's the conversation they're having. Calvin Kattar's past it. I think Calvin Kattar is going to get fucking bombed on here. Yeah, I got Garcia knockout. I think Garcia is not going to run away from him like Youssef Zalal did. All respect to Youssef Zalal, but I think I think Garcia is going to come out there and smack him with some big shots. Yes, I do think he's got power. Calvin Kattar is durable, so I do understand that side of it. If Calvin Kattar gets busted up, he's got balls. There's no question about it. I mean, you can't question the toughness, but I got to question the offense. Like, what does he offer in the way of offense against somebody who's got some fucking knuckle sandwiches for him? You know, I do think he's going to walk into some big shots. We're talking damage now. We got to talk Garcia. So can Calvin Kattar take him down? No, that would be key. That would be huge. It's how he beat Giga Chikadze, which was, I think, his last win, which was a long time ago. As you mentioned, 4-fight skid. Yeah, I think it's a 5-fight skid, AJ. This is the first disagreement we've had all card. I think you got to go Garcia. You got to go with the guy who's actually gunning for the finish, who's actually got some fire, bro. I feel like when I'm watching Calvin Kattar now, I'm watching a guy who's like over it, dude. He looks over it to me. Well, Garcia ain't fucking over it, dude. He's trying to get over your body with a right hand. I got Garcia.
Respect. Listen, I like Steve Garcia a lot. He's a fan favorite. Obviously, Kattar in a similar boat as an OG fan favorite. I think the tri-star move for Calvin Kattar is going to pay off in this one. I think they're going to have a good game plan. I think he's going to show something. I think he's still got some fight left in him, man. I don't see 5 losses in a row. I see one of those upsets where it's like, oh, shit, Calvin Kattar defending his spot, holding on to something against a dangerous guy in Steve Garcia. I don't know. I think Steve leaves openings, throws really hard, though. And a lot of guys can't eat that. I think Kattar could be the one to eat that. And I think he could fire back. And I think this fight could be very fun. Garcia, he was knocked out by Mashate a long time back, but I don't think he necessarily has chin issues. And it's been a while since Kattar's let the Fury go. But digging back to that Chikadze fight, he fucking beat the shit out of Giga Chikadze. I know it was a while ago, but I'm telling you, man, when Kattar's on one, he's a bad motherfucker. I think he's still got one more. I think he's got one more in this one. I think he's got one more.
He took Giga down. You know, if you could take Garcia down, I mean, you know, now we're talking about a different game. But I think Steve Garcia, he doesn't have the hand super high either. Like he could get an underhook as he comes in. I just feel like Garcia is very live and very dangerous. You know, only 33 years old. You know, he's been in the UFC now since 2021. He's got real experience, you know, knockout win over Chase Hooper, Shailon Nerdembeke, McQuiziel Costa, Sungwoo Choi, Kyle Nelson. He's on a fucking streak, dude. I think people are sleeping on Garcia. I think Calvin Kattar is going to be sleeping on the mat.
Shit, you going knockout for Garcia?
Knockout.
Wow. Okay. Respect. -123 for Garcia, +103 for Kattar. I'll say this fight does go over around and a half at -160. Kattar by KO +200. Garcia by KO +220. Interesting. The Kattar knockout is not as wide as Garcia knockout. That's interesting to me. Huh.
You know, I see what you're saying, that Calvin Kattar is historically durable, but what about in July of 2025?
Fair.
I'm concerned.
Fair. Listen, it's a fair concern to have. I don't know. I guess I'm going to ride off the positives the last time and say he picks up where he left off in round number 3 against the law, finds his range, and has a bit more success, man. Let's get it.
He was walking forward, but what the fuck was he doing, bro? Just walking. He wasn't doing
slick
as the law.
Yusuf slick, though. Yusuf's real slick.
Yeah, Yusuf slick. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. I mean,
he's
Garcia's
a technical
more
beast.
dangerous. It's a different puzzle for sure.
Yeah. It's a good fight. I love it. I love the matchup. I'm excited to see it. Finch, man, going mean machine, Steve Garcia. I'm going with the OG. I'm going with the the aging savage. All right. Massachusetts finest.
Respect.
They don't age up there, bro. That cold way. He moved up to fucking tri-star. He's looking to resurge. And I say he's got one more dance left in him. We'll do it. Let's go. Our next fight, we're talking about last dances. This one right here, the co-main event. We got Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus the dangerous Brazilian savage on the come up right now in Gabriel Bonfim. I mean, my pick is going to be Bonfim to win, Mike. I just think Stephen Wonderboy Thompson is going to end up on the ground with this savage. The kid starts fast, and I use this comparison when I talked about this for the first time. I think as weird as it is to compare flyweights to welterweights, like how Pantoja approached the fight with pressure against Kaikar France. I can see Bonfim bringing pressure early, backing Wonderboy up, making him uncomfortable, taking this fight to the ground. And I think that Bonfim on the ground brings such a submission threat. It's just way too much for me to overlook here. I'm going to pick Bonfim to win by sub. Obviously, Wonder Boy is a master of distance striking and range management. The karate kickboxing style is a one of fucking one. But I have to be realistic about timelines. I'm looking at a Stephen Wonderboy Thompson at 42 years old. I'm looking at a 27-year-old, 17-1 Brazilian prospect who's an absolute finisher. I mean, you look at his career, 13 submissions, 3 KOs, and just 1 decision. And that decision, I took positives away last year against Angelusa because I said, okay, he proved he can go distance after the Dalby fight where he kind of sold. I think Bonfim by sub makes a ton of sense here. I'm picking him to beat the OG.
Wonder Boy has a path, right? I watched Dune over the weekend for the first time. You ever seen Dune?
Shit, I don't know if I've seen it.
You ever seen it? There's part 1 and part 2. Part 2 had a lot more. Part 2 is better, but you know, it was good. And then we actually watched Lord of the Rings too, and they both say this thing like there is a narrow path. There is one narrow path. Wonder Boy's narrow path is to point fight this guy, because what Bonfim does is he's very technically sound. So he's setting you up the whole time. The whole time you're standing in front of him, he throws the calf kick. Okay, now you're checking the calf kick. I bet I could throw the lead push kick to the body. Right? He's not coming in there stupid. Like, you know, all respect to Joaquin Buckley, but Joaquin Buckley just feels it and then he blitzes you. You know what I mean? He doesn't even know what he's about to do. That is not Bonfim. And we're talking about a completely different opponent than what Bonfim just beat. Bonfim just beat just straight power, right? Now he's fighting a technician of technicians. He's fighting a Wonder Boy who has this deep arsenal of karate, and he's going to be feinting him and getting him to bite and stomping on the knee a little bit and looking for the head kick. If Wonder Boy can just get Bonfim into that technical area where he could just be a little too far away, time him a few times, get it a little bit boring, there is a pathway for Wonder Boy to win 2 out of 3 rounds in this fight. But I'm going Bonfim. Bonfim has more danger. Bonfim has the threat on the ground. So if he hits a takedown, his submission game is real. His submission game is nice. He'll jump on something right away. Bonfim has youth, speed, you know, power. He has so many different attributes on his side. You could just see that any slip up for Wonder Boy could cost him the whole fight, right? Wonder Boy has to fight this perfect fight. Bonfim doesn't. Bonfim can kickbox with him and just hit him with some big shots and do more damage. Bonfim could try to wrestle him the whole time. Like you could play the video game with Bonfim on the other side many different ways. Wonder Boy's got one way to do it. Side kick that body and don't let this boy touch you for 15 minutes. I like it, you know. You know what? I don't like it. Wonder Boy's 100 years old. Can we get Wonder Boy a fight he can win? Have you seen the fucking lineup they've had against Wonder Boy? Shavkat, Buckley. I mean, go down the list. The biggest break he's got is Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland looks pretty fucking good, right? So, who, by the way, he beat. So Wonder Boy has a fucking schedule, man. They are not trying to do this dude any favors, especially since he pulled out of that fight where with the weight miss. You remember that? So, you know, the UFC is kind of like, all right, we're going to give him a contender. You know, this is, this is how you go out. All right. You want to fight a little bit more? Here's Bonfim, you know, it's a fight. I do think it's more competitive than some do, but I am very impressed by Bonfim. I like Bonfim, and I do think Gabriel Bonfim gets it done. So Gabriel Bonfim, decisions, submissions live.
4-1, -400 Bonfim, +300 for Wonder Boy. Looking towards prop betting it. Bonfim by sub only +130. That's not great, but the reason I lean yes to that is because Wonder Boy's last 2, he's been finished. I don't know. I think as you start taking these losses, you start getting finished. Something tells me a finish is live again here too. And Bonfim is a finisher. I'm going Bonfim submission. I think he pulls it off against Wonder Boy, man. I think he finds a way. I think a Darce is live, maybe a rear naked choke. I think Wonder Boy takes a loss, man. I'm going with the prospect.
I'm not positive that Bonfim can take him down, but the reason I'm picking Bonfim is I don't even think he necessarily needs to, but it would be nice. It would definitely be nice. You know, I've been hearing people dunk on Wonder Boy's takedown defense. Oh, he never had takedown defense. He just never learned that part of his game. Wonder Boy can wrestle a little bit. Wonder Boy can defend takedowns a little bit, guys. It's not, you know, Bonfim's not taking him down at will, you know, but if he presses the issue, he probably could. And then, once Wonder Boy's on his back, I mean, Bonfim's got chokes, man. Bonfim's got a nice jiu-jitsu game, you know? Forgive me bringing up my friend, but Wonder Boy's lack of head movement is real because he pulls out. But my thing about that is, Jeremy, I do think that, you know, even though he pulls out in a straight line, he's got all that kickboxing experience. His range, his understanding of range is so good. I don't see that costing him. You know, as to where most people who stand in that head up position, they get caught big, you know, pretty rare. You see Wonder Boy get fucking clocked. Yeah. So, a fun one, you know, again, I'd rather see Wonder Boy in a even odds type matchup. You know, they got a 4-1 dog him every time. Here we go. Bonfim.
Yeah, I'm going Bonfim. We're going Bonfim. I expect him to get through the Wonder Boy test, and I'll say submission. I'm looking forward to the fight because this is the breakout chance. Bonfim wins. This is 3 in a row. This is a win against Wonder Boy Thompson, who has been at the top of the game for many, many years. I mean, currently right now, ranked number 12 in the world. So a win for Bonfim. They got a Brazilian prospect on fire. I'm assuming we're going to Brazil soon enough, right? When's the next card in Brazil? It's been a little while. I think we need some Brazilian contenders on the come up, and I definitely think Bonfim, one of them, wins this fight. Maybe a big fight in Brazil later this year. Count me in. I'm interested.
Yeah, I am too. It's been a minute since they've been to Brazil. Those are some wild ass fans, man. Maybe they don't have enough security for that fucking stadium.
Probably not. I think that's what's going on. Hey, we're both going for the young blood, the new generation. We're going Bonfim over the old guard to get it done. And we got a main event. The main event of the evening. Now, if you guys are watching and enjoying, hit the likes. If you're new, subscribe it up. We got Derrick Lewis versus Thaleson Teixeira. This is a crossroads heavyweight fight. You have Derrick Lewis, obviously, knockout king. Crazy power. Always has had the touch of death. But I do think he's shown some signs of slowing down. That Nascimento fight, it took him 3 rounds to get Nascimento out of there, and Nascimento hasn't done that well as of recent, taking losses in the PFL. And then I look on the other side, I got Thaleson Teixeira, this 6'7" kickboxer with knockout ability and a ton of hype at 25, an 83-inch reach, an 8-0 record. Good hand speed on him, knocked out Tafa. Obviously, people mentioned the low shot before the stoppage. Fair, but I do look at the positives. This kid seems to have really precise punching ability and also very explosive ability, fast twitch. I wasn't super sold on him making the debut because I'm like, I don't know, who is he training with and whatnot. But something tells me him getting the rub like this, I'm not overlooking that for the UFC. They gave him the push. They're putting him in a main event fight night in Nashville because they need heavyweights. And a 40-year-old Derrick Lewis, as fun as he is to watch, the dude gets touched. And we saw Tai Tuivasa, Sergey Pavlovich. We've seen him handled before by dangerous strikers. And I think Thaleson Teixeira is going to be too young, too elusive, too fast. I see Derrick Lewis getting a bit wild. I see him getting hit with something big, and I see him going down. I think Thaleson Teixeira is knocking Derrick Lewis out. And I have been a Derrick Lewis believer when everybody doubted. I have. I held my fucking ground. Everybody was thinking he was gone. I picked him over D Lima. I had him over Nascimento confidently. In this one here, I'm going for 8-0. I'm saying that the Brazilian prospect gets him out of there. I think that the speed is a factor. The range is a factor. The power is a factor. And I think it's just, kind of a battle of primes too. We haven't seen Derrick Lewis fight in a little bit over a year. And it was that 3rd round knockout win against Nascimento, which I wasn't blown away by. I mean, still got the knockout ultimately, but took him a while. I just think Thaleson Teixeira is too good, man. I think he's going to be too clean. And I think Thaleson Teixeira is putting away the OG, the knockout king himself, getting put out cold. I'm going Teixeira by knockout.
Taliesin Teixeira, 6'7", faster to the target, 25 years old, fighting this 40-year-old man. I mean, he's got to come out there thinking this heavyweight division is wide open. Here we go. Here's my spotlight. And with all that said, Derrick Lewis knockout. No, I saw a casual degenerate say that. I thought it was perfect. With all that said, Derrick Lewis knockout. Because as AJ called, okay, he looked good against Nascimento, right? He looked good against De Lima at 38. You know what I'm saying? 39 in the last one. So Derrick Lewis, heavyweights, first off, tend to still be dangerous at 40. That's much more common than a 45er, And you want to talk about dangerous heavyweights. I mean, Derrick Lewis has the fucking nuclear option over everybody. And here's a big 6'7" motherfucker. Derrick Lewis has made a career on just sailing some big ass punch up on these 6'7" guys and putting them down. You could ask a long list. Travis Brown. I don't know how far we want to go. This is a tough one because it seems too soon for Taliesin Teixeira for me. Like, his biggest win was Junior Tafa. You know what I'm saying? Justin. Oh, I'm sorry. Justin Tafa, which is worse. Justin Tafa. I just, I find it hard to go to Caesar's Palace and go bet on, on Teixeira, although I almost went last week because I did want some illegal fireworks and I was doing my best to get my hands on something. And my buddy at the gym, Bilbo Baggins, did not smuggle me some motherfucking fireworks. So I had no fireworks this year.
Damn.
Actually, I got one right there. I didn't even light it off. But where was I? Taliesin Teixeira is a young prospect who's faster to target, throws straight punches, more dynamic on the feet, has an ability to win this fight. Derrick Lewis is just too fucking dangerous for me right now, where I'm sitting to bet against. So Derrick Lewis giving him a run for his money is real. The pick, I'll go Taliesin Teixeira. I'll go Taliesin Teixeira as well. Getting to the target. Derrick Lewis he's so hot and cold. I don't know what version I'm gonna see. Lack of reliability is a big problem for me. Taliesin Teixeira finding the finish.
Taliesin Teixeira finding the finish. I see it. You see it. I think we see it. And it's a sad day because this is kind of the end of the old guard. But I feel like this is good for the heavyweight division. If Teixeira goes out and violently chins Derrick Lewis, I'm excited that we got a Brazilian heavyweight to watch. We need heavyweights to watch. We especially need some Brazilian heavyweights on the come up. Brazilians are like 1-9 in main events this year. It ain't been looking good.
Jesus.
But I think this weekend
they're due.
They're due. And I think Taliesin Teixeira does take it home. Now, he is the favorite at -270, which is, not a crazy line, but, wide to see a guy who's just 1-0 in the UFC against such a legend. Derrick Lewis is on the legend status for me with the knockouts. +230 for D-Lew. This fight to go under 2.5 is -475. That seems like a lock. Under 1.5 is -210. I do think it ends fairly quick. Teixeira by KO -175. Lewis by KO +300. And then if you're thinking Teixeira gets him out in round number 1, you got +175. I think Teixeira is finding the off button, man. I don't know. Something's telling me Lewis getting too wild. I think the straight shots to Teixeira land. I feel like he finds that target, man. And it's not like Teixeira has looked, invincible. And it's not like I've been so blown away. But I also look at something. He's 25 years old. He's 6'7" with an 83-inch reach. He's coming off of, violent knockout wins. And obviously, this is a massive step up in competition. But I think it's like finding the Derrick Lewis fight at the right time. This is not the Derrick Lewis fight in 2020. This is not the Derrick Lewis that, was challenging for a belt. This isn't the same D-Lew. Like, yes, he hit De Lima with a flying knee. Yes, he knocked out Nascimento. But He also, got absolutely out-grappled for 5 rounds by Jailton Almeida. Sergey Pavlovich quickly KO'd him. He got chinned by Tuivasa. I just think it's kind of like seeming to me like Father Time tells all, man. This is not the one Derrick Lewis who knocked out Blades. I think this is Teixeira's fight. And,
but let's run it back. I like those examples. That Tai Tuivasa, the Sergey losses. Hey, he's just got problems with a dude named Sergey. I mean,
Pavlovich
Sergey,
and Spivak. Yeah, both beat his ass.
Sergey's a problem. But, right around that time, he was kind of like fat, out of it. Like, you remember the Ken Shamrock story I told you earlier? I think we had a little bit of that going on with D-Lou, and then all of a sudden DeLima gets booked. He's like, you know what? I know I can knock this motherfucker out, right? Yeah. He gets booked with Jailton. Obviously, Jailton's tremendous. He gets booked with Nascimento. He's like, I know I can knock this motherfucker out. He had like a career resurgence. Remember, he was looking thinner. He was like running on Instagram, and all of a sudden Derrick Lewis comes in, and you're like, oh shit, he's in shape.
Yeah.
I want to see what Derrick Lewis shows up on the scales. That's going to matter to me.
I agree with that. I have a picture of Derrick Lewis from Instagram of how he looks, and I don't know if this is an updated picture of him or not, but this is the picture from the card. I don't know if you saw this. I'm assuming you've probably seen it, but I don't know how closely you looked at it. He looks pretty fucking fat here. This is not in shape, D-Lou. I see titties. And I hang over. I'm telling you, this is chubby D-Lou.
Singles out. Let's go. I see titties. Oh, now it cleared up. It was like blurry for a second.
You see what I'm saying?
I want to see the number on the scale. I need to see the hands, bro.
Oh, what the fuck happened?
That was cool. That was kind of nice. I got to see the scale. I got to see him on the scale, and then I can make so this is like, Chidi and Njokuani, I got to see on the scale, maybe number 1. Derrick Lewis. Let's see what type of shape we're talking about.
Yeah. Friday's going to tell us a lot. I'm looking forward to the weigh-ins for sure. The weigh-in show. I know you're doing your post weigh-in. I'm doing mine. I'm looking forward to seeing how everything looks after that. What type of D-Lou do we get? How does Chidi's cut go? Even how does Chris Curtis look cutting down to 170? How's Petrino looking at heavyweight? There's a lot of interesting fights that like the scale will tell us a little more. And I look forward to that insight.
Absolutely.
We're going to share, Mike Finch. We're both doing it.
Yes, we are. You a little more confident than me, but this kid is talented for sure. It's just a big jump. So, if he's fighting the Black Beast, bro, it's coin flip. If he's fighting fat Derrick Lewis, who's cashing out, then Teixeira's going to put him away in the first.
Let's go. Let's find out. We'll see what happens. But we're not done yet. We're both going the same call in the main event. But we got one more segment. You know what time it is, Finch. It's parlay time.
All the competition that try to compete, stand back, watch the bomb drop.
Parlay time. Open up your wallets and let's bet on some fist fights.
Yeah. Parlay time. I'm going 3-legger for the parlay on Saturday night in Nashville. Yeah. I'm going to go 2 legs, and then maybe AJ could close up for that third leg. All right. It's like it's a stool. Okay. We're going with a stool this time. All right. I'm going to give you guys Mike Davis over Mitch Ramirez because I think Mike Davis is just going to smush him, take him down, beat him up. And then give me Fatima Kline over Melissa Martinez. Again, these takedowns just seem too easy to hit on these two. Fatima Kline and Mikey Davis.
Okay. Fatima Kline, Mikey Davis.
I know who he's going to pick.
Who do you think I'm going to pick?
All right. I had 2 in my head. He's either going to go Chidi or he's going to go Chris Curtis. Those are the 2 he's looking at.
I'll be honest. It's actually not Chidi. It's Chris Curtis. I was going to do Bonfim. But my initial lean was Curtis. It's just I got to see the scale. But I'm going to go Curtis. I'm going to have faith. I think Fatima Kline wins. I think that Mike Davis wins. And I think Chris Curtis wins. You got a little chalky 3-legger at -164.
Come on, folks. We're throwing some out there for y'all. I gave away my pick on the free channel You guys can go check that out on Telegram. I gave out my most confident bets in premium channel. DM at Mike Finch Show on Instagram if you want to see who I'm betting on this week. Also, I already dropped most confident picks. So if you want to see my 5 most confident picks, a show that AJ originally named, you guys could go check those out. It's on my channel right now. And last but not least, I'm starting MMA University. I'm starting an online database where you can learn mixed martial arts from the ground up. AJ, the first thing I focused on is bag work. I'm just teaching people bag work basics, how to stand, how to move, how to punch, right? I'm going over common mistakes, homework they can do at home. You guys can check that out in a matter of weeks. We're going to have the first modules up. And the big thing I want to do is teach it like you're in college, right? Like teach it like a curriculum, lesson plans, the jab you can click on and it'll break down the different types of jabs you could throw. And I really want to make it so it's just not one fat ass video with no timestamps. People are paying $200, $300 for these like instructionals and it's just a fat ass video with terrible audio. Let's put something together where people can really learn the best they possibly can. I think we're making something really unique. You guys could check that out in a matter of weeks. I'm super excited to drop that for y'all.
I'm excited to get my inside access, man. I'm excited.
Hey, of course, AJ. Of course, we're sending AJ the pilot. Of course.
Let's go. I'm excited. Listen, I'll definitely check it out. I'm looking forward to it, man. You've been telling me about that for a few months now. And I've been wanting to do something like it for a while. I'm excited, man. I'm actually excited to see it myself, check out the programs and stuff. This will be cool. And then where are people going to be able to buy it?
You know, athletes, coaches. Like I want you to learn how to break somebody's ribs by Giga Chikadze's, ninja kick. I want to learn a straight left hand from Conor McGregor. I want to learn from the best coaches in the world too, right? So I think we can make something really cool, really unique, and really valuable.
Who's coach number 1?
I can't say. We got to get me. Coach number 1 is me.
Yeah,
Coach Finch. All right. I'm kicking it off, And then after we have that out, I've talked to 2 fighters, one who has fought in Bellator, one who's fought in the UFC. And those are looking interesting. Yes.
I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm excited to see what you cook up. That should be a lot of fun, man. So W to the Finch. I actually got his most recent stream linked in the live chat. Check out his most confident picks. I know normally he's doing it live, but he did it yesterday. He was a day early. He texted me. I'm getting off a plane. He said, yo, where we at? We not doing money? I'm like, what the fuck, man? I just got off a plane, brother.
And it was perfect. I had my lights on. I'm like, all right, most confident picks is. I threw it right on. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. I did recall the conversation though. So no worries. Hey man, I hope you had a great trip. Looks like you had some good food and you returned safe and sound. That's all we need. So on to the next one, AJ. You guys could catch AJ's content all fucking week. I'm dropping a new show as well. So I'm going to do reactions, right? It'll either be Saturday night or Sunday, probably mostly Sunday, but I'll jump on the occasional Saturday night too after the events happen. So I'm going to do my reaction and breakdown at post event, right? So now that's most confident picks, full card predictions after weigh-ins, and the event breakdowns, trying to give you guys more content, trying to double down on this shit.
Let's do it. Mike Finch, W to you, W to the people. Thank you all for watching. Hit the likes on your way out. Smash the damn subscribe button too. And check me out. I'll be live tomorrow. I got this week's best MMA bets. Hey, thank you to your boy. I appreciate you, man. And also I'm doing a live stream. We got W content. I'm back every day, all day, every day. You know where to find me. Back to business. No more vacation.
Back again. AJ's back. Tell a friend. Guess who's back? 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 Nah. I was about to rap too.
You're going off.
I created a monster because nobody wants to see AJ with pizza no more. They want MMA picks. That's chopped liver. Well, if you want AJ, this is what I'll give you. A little bit of weed mixed with some hard liquor. Come on.
Let's go. Mike Finch enjoying himself. I'm glad I got a rhyme too. Thank you, man. Thank you, people. Go check out Finch's show. We'll see you all soon. Love you guys. Peace out. Much love. Bye-bye.